like to live in a wigwam. I'd like to live in a wigwam. I'd like to live in a wigwam and dance round the totem pole. I'd like to live in an igloo. I'd like to live in.
Okay, we're going to find the equation of a parabola in 5.3. So for this section, the main thing you want to remember is the standard form equation of a parabola. Y equals ax minus h squared plus k. That's your key to this section. So only 3 examples. For once I can confidently say this will not take a long time. Find the equation of the following parabola, this blue parabola right here. Well, where do you think you need to look first? Bing! Right there. You want to get the vertex. So the vertex is what? 2, 4. 2, 4. Okay, so we can already take that information, the 2, 4, and we can fill in some of the information in our standard position equation here. So let's do that right now. Now, common mistake, this is not 4, right? How do we get the vertex? The vertex comes from the h and the k. The vertex is actually hk, right? That's how we get the vertex in standard form. So if we put the 2 into the h and the 4 into the k, what we have is y equals ax. Now careful, you're going to put minus 2 or plus 2 here. Remember, it's always kind of opposite, x minus 2, right? Because in order to make it x minus 2, h has to be 2. If h was negative 2, then this would be negative negative, which is plus. So x minus 2 squared, don't forget the squared, plus 4. The y value of the vertex is always the same sign. Okay, we're almost there. What's the only other thing we need? All we need now is a. If we could figure out a, we'd be done. Alright, remember when we drew lines before, I always stressed over and over and over that the idea with the line is that every single point on the line satisfies the equation for the line. Well, it's the same thing with the parabola. This parabola is made up of how many points? Infinite. All these ones you see here, point, 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 and they go down forever. All these points, point, 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 and they go down forever. And what's the relationship between this blue parabola and the equation we're finding? Well, the relationship is that every single one of these points on the parabola, if you plug it into the equation, it works. Like the x value and the y value will work. It'll satisfy the equation, we say. All the points that aren't on the parabola, they don't work. They will not work if you plug them into the equation. So we need to get the a value. Pick any other point besides the vertex. So they actually show you here one point, this point here, pretty important point. Why is that important? Because it's the y-intercept. You could pick that one. Don't pick this point. That would be ridiculous, right? Because we don't know where that point is. Don't pick this point. Here's one you might be able to pick. That's not a bad one. On the drawings I give you on quizzes and tests, I'll make sure there's a dot there so you know for sure, so you don't have to be worried about, well, is it really going through that point? I can't really tell. I'll make sure that we put a dot there. Now, let's say that you pick this point here and your friend picks this point here. You're still going to get the right answer, okay? It doesn't matter. So, I don't know. Let's pick, so we have the vertex is 2, 4, and we have one other point. Which one you want to pick? Pick one. You picked this one, didn't you? I could tell. Okay, so we'll go with that one. Point 1, 2. If you pick this one, just pretend I guessed it. Okay. Okay. Or if you pick this one, go ahead, try this one. You'll see it still works. Okay. So here's a point. This is the x value of that point. This is the y value of that point. Oh, so we can plug those two numbers into the x and y. So let's do that. We'll put, instead of y, we'll put 2 equals a. We still don't know a. X is 1. Minus 2 squared plus 4. How many unknowns do we have? 1. Perfect. That's what we want. We want to have only one unknown because now we can solve this thing. So let's do it. 2 equals a. 1 minus 2 is negative 1, but when we square it, you end up with 1. So you end up with just 1a plus 4. Oh, subtract 4 from both sides. We got the answer. A equals 2 take away 4 is negative 2. The value for a is negative 2. Alright, someone out there said, well, I didn't want to pick that point. I wanted to pick this point. Let's just quickly show them that it would still work. So, writing over here, this point this time is what? What point's that? That is the point. Be careful, it's not negative 4, 0. It's 0, negative 4. So again, if I plug that point into the red thing here, I get negative 4 equals a. X is 0. 0 take away 2 squared plus 4. Okay, let's solve it. Negative 4 equals 0 take away 2 is negative 2 times, 0 take away 2 is negative 2, squared is 4 times a, so 4a, right? Plus 4, subtract 4 from both sides, I get negative 8 equals 4a, divide by 4, I get a equals negative 2. Any single point on this parabola will work, but will give us the same value, a equals negative 2, but you want to pick pretty points. That point would be good, point would be good, this point would be good. Those would be your choices. You can't use the vertex. I'll leave it for you to see what happens if you try the vertex. It just won't work out. Okay, don't go on to the next question. This happens all the time. People get the a value, they get all excited, yay, I'm finished. What they forgot to do is we're supposed to find the equation. We haven't found the equation yet. So we almost had the equation here. What did we still need to find? The a value. So now we'll rewrite this. Y equals negative 2, because we found the a value, x minus 2 squared plus 4. Finished. Good job. Check. Now some of you might say, Mr. Wadge, I didn't need to do that for the a value. I could tell the a value right away because it's over 1 down 2 and then over 1 down 6, and I know from my step pattern that that means the a value is negative 2, and if you can figure that out, that's great, no problem. I'm just not going to spend a lot of time discussing it here. Okay, and also for those people who are clever enough to figure that out, it won't help you much in the next question, because this time they don't give you the grid or the graph, they just talk about what you have. But either way, what you need is the vertex and one other point, and that's what you have here. So I know it's written right there, but let's just write it again. The vertex is 5, 2. The y-intercept, or my point, let's put it that way, my other point is a y-intercept. So I don't want to just put negative 3. That's not a point. How do you name the point negative 3? Like the y-intercept at negative 3. I'll go up here and show you. It's right here, right? That's the y-intercept at negative 3. What point is that? That's 0, negative 3. Make sure you write the 0 in there, or think about the 0, because otherwise you're not going to get this answer right. Okay, now we just do exactly what we did before. Y equals, what is it? A equals x minus h squared plus k, and start plugging in. So let's put the vertex points in. Those points go in the h and the k. I should have done it with negative this time. Oh well. So we get y equals a x minus 5, because you take the opposite of that one, squared plus 2. Is this practically the same question we just did? Where was this vertex? Oh no, it's quite different. Okay, so that's good, and now we take the point. I mean, once you get good at this, you can do it all in one go. You can plug everything at once, but I like to do it in 2 steps when we get started. So we're going to plug the x value in there, we're going to plug the y value in here, and we'll see where we're at. So we'll have negative 3 equals 0, or sorry, it's a, I was writing an a, I really was. A 0 minus 5 squared plus 2, and we solve that. Negative 3 equals 0 take away 5 is negative 5. Negative 5 squared is 25, so we have 25a plus 2. Take away 2, negative 5 equals 25a, divide by 25, divide by 25. You end up with a equals negative 5 over 25. Why don't we put it in lowest terms? Negative 1 over 5, right, is our a value. Now, that's not the answer, though. We got to go back up to here. Remember, we had everything except a. We're going to rewrite that, but this time we're going to write, instead of a, we're going to write negative 1/5 x minus 5 squared plus 2. I do prefer fractions. It's easier to graph, and it's more exact instead of having, like, if you have an irrational number that doesn't have repeating decimals, it's more accurate. So if you can do fractions, that'd be great. And the a value is not going to be totally bizarre numbers. We'll just make sure it's somewhat easy to deal with fractions, I suppose. Okay, last one. Wow, I love it so fast. Okay, your picture, your sheet doesn't have this graph. Don't worry about it. Don't draw one or anything. I just wanted to use it to help us solve the question. So this time they don't give us the vertex. Too bad. They give us 3 points. So the reason I put the graph here is just to help us picture this. Let's graph these 3 points. So one's at 3, -4, right there. One's at -3, 2, and one's at 1, 2. Okay. Now, there's something very important about these. Well, there's something very important about 2 of the points anyway. What do you notice about 2 of the points? What are the important points here? These 2 are important points. How come? Because they have the same y value, which means that we can figure out where the axis of symmetry is. And in fact, we can even figure out where the vertex is in terms of its x value. Right? Because if you see points that are symmetrical to one another, you know that the axis of symmetry is right in the middle. We know that the axis of symmetry should be right here. Oh my gosh, that's going to look terrible. That's ridiculous. But anyway, it's right in the middle there. Okay. Also from those, you should be able to figure out whether the parabola points up or down. Couldn't possibly point up, could it? How could you draw a parabola that goes through all these 3 points and faces up? But faces down? Yeah, that'd be no problem. We could do that. But anyway, you can do this even without graphing. So here's what you do. You notice that these 2 have the same y value. So just like we drew here, right? So to figure out where the axis of symmetry is, you want to find the halfway point of -3 and -3 and 1. You want to average those. So -3 plus 1 divided by 2 equals -2/2 equals -1. Is that what we found? Yeah, that axis of symmetry is exactly at x equals -1. Okay, what else? Well, let's write down, when in doubt, write down the formula. Y equals ax minus h squared plus k. And we now, for the vertex, what do we know about the vertex? We know the vertex is -1 comma something. We don't know what this number is here. Okay, well, we can plug that number in. This is the h value, right? This value goes right there. So let's do that. We'll put y equals x minus -1, right? Take away -1, so it's actually +1. Again, you always do the opposite of the x. So x plus 1 squared plus k. Now we've got a problem here. We have 2 unknowns. So we're going to go back to grade 10. If you have 2 unknowns, you're going to have to make a system of equations. How many equations do you need to solve if you have 2 unknowns? You need 2 equations. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to plug in these numbers, x and y, right? This is an x and this is y. You're going to plug those in, but that's only going to, you're still going to have 2 unknowns. You're going to do the same with one of these points, x and y, and plug those in, and then you're going to solve the system. You can't pick these 2 though. Again, I'll leave it for you to try, but the ones that are symmetrical, that are on the same y value, you can't pick those 2. You have to pick one of those and the other one. It's probably confusing, so let's keep going here. So I'm going to take these, this 3, -4, the x value and the y value, I'm going to plug them in here. So my y is -4 equals, I don't know, x is 3 plus 1 squared plus k. And we'll solve that as much as we can. Simplify as much as we can, I guess I should say. -4 equals 3 plus 1 is 4, squared is 16, so I get 16a plus k. And that's it. I can't do anything else, right? There's 2 unknowns, so I'm finished. Now pick one of these 2 points. I'll pick the one that has no negatives. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to plug the x and the y into this one right here. So I get 2, because that's what the y value is, equals a 1 plus 1 squared plus k. Simplify that as much as possible. 2 equals 1 plus 1 is 2, squared is 4, 4a plus k. Okay, now you got to solve the system of equations. You got to solve this and this. You got to figure out what a is and what k is. And once you figured out a and k, you're finished. So you got to go back to last year. You can solve this by substitution. that would be to solve, get k by itself or get a by itself and then substitute into the other. That'd be really easy. You could get k by itself really easy here or really easy here. Just move the 4a over and make it negative 4a, so 2 take away 4a, or move the 16a over, negative 4 take away 16a. Or you could do it by elimination, adding or subtracting. I'm going to do that. I got k and k. I kind of like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both of these, just going to rewrite them. Negative 4 equals 16a plus k. I'm going to write the other one right below it. 2 equals 4a plus k. Hey, I could get rid of those k's really, really easily. What can I do to the second equation to get rid of it? How about subtract? Let's subtract all of this, and my k's are just going to disappear. Let's try it. Negative 4 take away 2, negative 6. 16 take away 4a, 12a. K take away k, gone, finished. Hey, I'm almost done. I can solve this now. Divide by 12, divide by 12. I get a equals negative 6 over 12, which is the same as negative 1/2. Great. I need to know k as well, though, so why don't you take that negative 1/2 and plug it into one of these spots, either there or there. I'll go with the one over here. So 2 equals 4 times a, which is negative 1/2, plus k. 2 equals 4 times negative 1/2. That equals negative 2. We'll leave that for you to figure out. Plus k. Add 2. Add 2. K equals 4. Great. I got everything I need. I got my a and I got my k, and we already plugged my h in right there. So now I can just take this check-marked one and plug in everything else I still need. So let's write our final answer over here. Y equals a, which we now know is negative 1/2, x plus 1 squared, plus k, and k is 4, so plus 4. That's the final answer right there. What's the vertex, by the way? Negative 1, 4. So if we go back here, vertex is negative 1, 4. Didn't need to write that down. What we need is the equation, and here's the equation right here. Okay? There is a way to do it. Some of you might be wondering, yeah, but what if these 2 points here, what if they weren't symmetrical? What if there was 3 points like this point, and I don't know, this point, and we wanted to know how to, the parabola, the equation of the parabola? You can do it. It's difficult. It takes a system of equations as well, and I don't think we're going to make you do it this year, but it is possible, definitely. You just need to come up with 3 equations and then solve from there. Okay, that's it.
And I don't want to live in a jailhouse. Don't want to buy my time in no jailhouse. No, I don't want to live in no jailhouse and be fed bread to the boss.